What's up guys, it's your boy, still needs an intro, and today we're going to change an alternator on a Hyundai. So it is now June and the alternator was actually replaced last August, but the 3.3 liter V6 has a common issue of the valve cover gasket going bad and leaking oil directly onto the alternator, which is the same issue we're running into this time. So just for good measure, they went through and they replaced the battery just to make sure that wasn't the problem. And then sometimes it's a good idea, if you've already replaced the alternator like they did in this case, to go ahead and replace the battery as well, because when the alternator does a bad job of charging, it'll drain the battery and it's just a snowball effect that leads to the original battery going out. So a couple things we're going to take off in advance just to make it a little easier. We're going to take off the air intake tube, and then we are going to take off the electric fan and a couple of these little wiring harnesses that are kind of in the way. Now you may not be able to hear everything when you go to initially turn the car on, but when you turn it to the on position, you hear the fuel pump prime and everything is dinging. The air conditioning and whatnot is working, but when you try to turn the key, it instantly basically acts like it doesn't have a battery in it, or it's on very, very low charge, which would indicate a bad alternator, especially if you've already replaced the battery ahead of time. All right, now the intake tube comes out. Mind holding that for me? Thank you. And it's just 3 little Phillips head screws here. This one was completely stripped out, so we went ahead and just broke it. And then, so whenever we put it back in, we're just gonna install this one and this one over here. So she's doing all the work for me. I'm just the one that has the YouTube channel.
Big balls. I don't even know.
But while I was inside, she removed the top 2 bolts. There's one over here and then one over on the other side. And then there are 2 clips on each bottom corner. And then you have this plug here, like so. So just push down on this top tab here and it'll pull right out. And then the fan comes out in just one big piece, like so. So you can see it was kind of scraping on the top radiator hose, but it's all good. So next is going to be unclipping all of these that connect to the alternator and around the alternator. So you have this one here, so there's a little cap over the nut, and then down below it you'll have a plug right here. And then we have this little clip that we can just undo. This is your O2 sensor. And then we'll just pull this wire up and over and out of the way. She's doing a wonderful job. She's wearing a glove because she's afraid of sparks, but she's doing wonderful. Wonderful job of poking holes in her radiator.
No, it's not. It's a good thing your glove is 2 sizes too big.
Geez, Jesse, this is the #1 thing that I preach in every single video. Disconnect the negative battery terminal first.
Oops.
So here comes the fun part of jacking up the car and taking off the wheel so that we can get to the tensioner pulley on the side of the motor.
Hopefully I'm not in the shot over here just dying.
You're in the shot over there just dying. We got the wheel off, and just for added safety, we're going to put it underneath the car. So now there's going to be 3 10mm bolts. There's one under here, there's one under here, and then there's one more over here somewhere. But then we'll be able to take off this piece of plastic and get to the tensioner pulley on the other side. So underneath here, you can see the tensioner pulley, and it's a 3/4 inch head. So we just took a 3/4 inch socket on an extension and we turned it to the left, so loosened it basically and slipped the belt off. So last, what we're going to do is start unbolting the alternator. So it should be what looks like a 13mm bolt there and then a 13mm bolt on the very bottom of it. We got both 14mm bolts taken out. The bottom one fought us a little bit, so in retrospect it might be easier to take out the bottom one first. So now comes the fun part of getting this thing out of its resting place. We put cardboard in front of the radiator as a protector, because from the last time you can see some battle wounds on the side of it where the fins are crushed in. So on with taking it out. All right, we got the alternator pulled. Now we're at our local Advanced Auto Parts. All right, we got the wheel put on, we got everything buttoned back up. Getting the belt routed back around was a little confusing, considering it backtracks in like 3 different places. We got all the harnesses put back in place, and last but not least, we put the negative battery terminal back on. So I believe the very last step would be to attempt to start the car. And look at that, it's holding a charge. Beautiful.
And for the millionth time, I didn't film an outro until the day that I'm supposed to upload this. So, if you found this video helpful, please be sure to drop a like and share it with your friends. If you'd consider subscribing, click over here. If you want to see what YouTube recommends you watch next, click over here. And as always, I look forward to seeing you guys next time.